In this video, we're going to talk about 9.3 Objective 3, where we conduct hypothesis tests for population proportions. Let me go ahead and get my tool for that open, stat tests, and we're going to find a one prop z-test. There it is, right there. One study based on responses from 1,016 individuals concluded that 39% of teenagers cite grades as their greatest source of pressure. So this is 39% of the 1016. And we can't have a decimal value there, so they have to mean that it was 396 and they rounded. And use a 5% level of significance to test the claim that fewer than half of all teenagers in the population, so there's fewer than half, feel that grades are a great source of pressure. So there's where we get our 39% when we rounded this to 2 decimal places. Our H naught was, HA was less than 5%. Again, I would love for this to have been greater than or equal to be the logical opposite of that. Our Z value is negative 7.03, off the charts small. So our P value here is essentially 0 because it's got 11 zeros in front of that 1. Because our P value is less than alpha, we're going to reject H naught and say that there is sufficient evidence to support our claim that less than half of teenagers feel that grades are the greatest source of pressure. So I'm going to reject H naught. There is sufficient evidence to support the claim that fewer than half of all teenagers in the population feel that grades are the greatest source of pressure. Right? One research study of illegal drug use among 12 to 17-year-olds reported a decrease in use from 11.4% in 1997 to 9.7% now. Suppose a survey in a large high school reveals that a random sample of 1,044 students 96 reported using illegal drugs. Use a 5% significance level to test the principal's claim that illegal drug use in her school is below the current national average. So 9.7% is there, and 96 out of 1,044, and the principal wants to say that it's below the claimed average. And below, and this should be greater than or equal to, and this is negative 0.55, and our p-value is rounded to 3 decimal places, 291. There we go. And because our p-value is greater than alpha, we are going to fail to reject H naught, and there's insufficient evidence to support the claim that the principal's school has a lower than average use of that it's below the national average. So we are going to fail to reject H naught. There is insufficient evidence to support the claim. And study of 801. Randomly selected medical malpractice lawsuits. It was found that 494 of them were dropped or dismissed. Use a 5% level of significance to test the claim that most medical malpractice suits are dropped or dismissed. So when we say most, we mean more than 50%. So more than 50%. And this one should be less than or equal to. And 6.61, which means we're going to have a p-value that's basically 0. And we are going to reject H naught. We're in the rejection region, and there's sufficient evidence to support the claim. Reject the null hypothesis. So the p-value is less than or equal to the significance level. There is sufficient evidence to support the claim. According to a study in the previous year, 52% of households nationwide use natural gas for heating during a year. Recently, a survey of 2,600 randomly selected households showed that 53% use natural gas. Use a 5% significance level to test the claim that 52% national rate has changed. And we're going to say here that it's different. It would not be wrong to, because you know that it's higher than what it was before, to test it to see if it's gone up, but they just want you to, when they say it's changed, they want you to use a not equal to situation. So equal to, not equal to. So we're going to do two-tailed tests, and we're going to do number 5, and it was 52%, and now it's 53% of our people that we surveyed, which is 2,600 people. That comes out nice and even. And we want a not equal to situation. And our Z is 1.02. Our p-value is 0.3074. 4 decimal places. Yeah. They've been using 3 decimal places to now. They just did that, throw us off a little bit. So that's definitely greater than our alpha of 0.05. So we are going to fail to reject H naught, and there's not sufficient evidence to say that it has changed. So there's insufficient evidence to reject H naught, or there's not evidence to support the claim. That's how we would say that it has changed. So we're going to fail to reject H naught. There is insufficient evidence to support the claim. but the percentage of households using natural gas has changed. Survey of 1,000 adults showed that 39.3% of the respondents searched for themselves online. Use a 5% level of significance to test the claim that fewer than 50% of adults search for themselves online. So fewer than 50%, using the information that we have 39.3% of our 1,000 adults here, and we want fewer than 50%. It's this one, and again, there we go. Our z-value is negative 6.77. Our claim is HA. Our p-value is 0.00 because there's 11 zeros in front of that 6. We are going to reject H naught because the p-value is less than or equal to the level of significance. So there is sufficient evidence to support the claim that fewer than 50% of adults search for themselves online. Not going to watch this video, but you can watch that before answering this question and conducting a hypothesis test for the claim that P is greater than 0.4. That has to be my alternative hypothesis. H naught has to be that P is less than or equal to 0.4. The z-value is 2.33, and the test statistic is 2.88. So 2.33, 2.88 is in my rejection region here. So we're going to reject H naught, and there will be sufficient evidence to support the claim. We're conducting the hypothesis test that P is greater than 0.4. So I put 0.4 H naught. Critical value is 2.33. Test statistic is 2.22. So we fail to reject H naught. So there's insufficient evidence to support the claim. I believe that's everything. Yes, it is. So this ends our topics in chapter 9. We'll come back next time and talk about topics in chapter 10. We'll see you for the next video.